All right, what's going on? I didn't know we were going live right now. It's Kevin Kenny. Welcome to a brand new edition of the Build series, and I am very, very excited about our guest today. I've never spoken to this band. I've been a fan of theirs for as long as I can remember. They are the owners of the top 40 smash hits, Rhythm of Love, 1, 2, 3, 4, and also the #1, I think we can say this, the timeless classic, I've anointed it, Hey There Delilah. They're back right now with a brand new record, Parallel Universe. Can we please make some noise for Plain White Tees? Joining us now live on the Build stage, Plain White Tees.
What's up?
Hey.
Yeah. Now, for you at home, these guys are real troopers. You have been up, can I just say this, since 5:30, some of you, I understand. Probably even before that, you had to be somewhere at 5:30 today.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Crazy.
cool, huh?
That's not a big deal. Lots of people are up that early.
That's true.
The thing that makes it a big deal for me is I went to bed at 4.
I was going to say, yeah, who was up till 5:30?
I think I was.
Yeah.
Dave, you slept in the backstage area here.
I've slept everywhere I've had a chance today.
Oh my God. What did you do last night, Dave?
This place, Little Branch, I think was the bar.
Yeah, I led him to a bar that I didn't go to with him, and maybe I should have.
Yeah, you should have. It was
So you
cool.
let him there, and then you what? You bailed?
I went
You're
home
like,
because I
"I
had to
gotta
be
go
up
to
at
bed."
5 a.m.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I was trying to be responsible for once.
I was not.
Where was it? Manhattan, Brooklyn?
Do you know?
Manhattan.
You didn't even know.
Well, I mean, like, I know it was in Manhattan, but I know
It's close to here.
In New York
I don't
State.
know.
Yeah.
New York State, yeah. The general Northeast.
Yeah, my brain is
Might have been
mush.
It's like probably right down the street. You
Yeah.
know?
Well, guys, thanks so much for stopping by. Very excited to talk to you about this new record. You guys must be excited to have it out. How does it feel in so few words?
It feels pretty amazing. Yeah, the album, we finished tracking the album in December.
Okay.
And it just came out in August. That just shows you like the process of getting it mixed, getting it mastered, going through, making little changes here and there.
Yeah,
Takes
every
a lot.
part of making this record was really exciting, except for just the 6 months of sitting there while it
Waiting
for it to get released.
all the little things, yeah.
Who's the pickiest in the group, if you had to say, like when it comes to that mixing process and saying, we got to, make more of this or less of that, or
Yeah, I
don't know.
hate it.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I hate the mixing process.
I don't think any of us really.
No, I would say like there's a responsibility for someone at least to take on that role, and that's usually Tom.
Okay.
You know.
Right on. And then how do you know when a song is done? It's probably a case by case, but is there like a general rule or maybe like a feeling you look for, or?
It's like usually when I first hear something, I kind of try to trust my instincts.
Yeah.
It's like if something sticks out to me, or if it's like if I hear something that I just don't like, it's just I just want to try to tweak it or want to try to change it, and then usually once it's like smoothed out, then I'm just like, okay, sounds cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's pretty good about that. I feel like having played in other bands, when we were younger, I've had lead singers who would never release anything, and you're just sitting there going like, fun career this is going to be, we can't put out a single record. But Tom, I think like he knows what he's doing. We also trust each other's opinion and the producer's opinion, and I don't know, just get to it fast.
Yeah.
It's
And
nice.
plus, like, you guys can probably attest, right? A song's never done.
I mean, you could just keep.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. There's always something you can tweak about it, but that's kind of why it's art, right? At the end of the day.
Sure.
I love how you guys have talked about this record in previous interviews recently that I've been reading. One of the things I got to ask you about is that somebody described it maybe sonically as it's like Plain White Tees went back in time to the 80s, then went into the future, I think to 2020, and then came back to 2018 to release it, which sounds amazing and a movie that I would go and see. But
Yeah. Coming soon next summer.
Yeah,
To a theater
please.
near you.
Along with your new TV show we'll talk about.
Oh, hey.
But talk to me about like what that means. Maybe it was you that said it, Tom.
It was me. I was just trying to come up with a cool quote for an interview. But no, that was the idea. When we were in the studio, we were all, I don't know, we've all been kind of like jamming like 80s songs recently, and kind of inspired by that stuff. But we didn't want to make an album that sounded old school. We wanted to make an album that sounded kind of futuristic. So we took a lot of those I don't know, I guess the
Cues.
Yeah, the cues from the 80s songs, all the classics that we all love, and we tried to put like a futuristic spin on it. And make it sound really fresh and really like something you've never heard before.
Right. So tell me, what is an 80s cue?
Synths that sound like Stranger Things.
80s-ish.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know, 80s, it's like it's an adjective,
Yeah. Well, you guys
Yeah,
are big
super
fans
80s.
of the 80s, though, and I know, like, were you all Chicago kids, by the way?
Everybody but this guy.
Oh, yeah. Santa Barbara. Okay, right on. SoCal. For everyone else, if you don't mind, I'm going to talk about Chicago for a second.
Yeah.
Because I know that's something all near and dear to your hearts, and just you think of '80s, like not to be stereotypical, but like you think of Ferris Bueller, you think
Totally.
about
John Hughes.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Like those are all '80s classics, and they're set where you guys grew up. What is special about that area? Because there's got to be something, right?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Like those movies all take place pretty much in like Oak Park or River Forest. I feel like.
Right.
Right.
In the North Shore,
So,
too.
yeah, North Shore. So tree-lined streets.
There's just something about the Midwest. I think
Yeah.
even everywhere we go around the country, like our old A&R guy at our old label, he was from Michigan.
Yeah.
It's like people that we run into that we click with really well are always like from the Midwest or always have some ties to the Midwest. I just think it's like it's just a cool, I think growing up there, it was kind of the perfect blend of like, cool, we're like suburban kids, but if we want to go to the city, it's, a 30-minute drive into the city. In high school, we were always going to shows, like every cool band came through Chicago. It's like one of the bigger cities. And then we can go retreat to the burbs and be like little suburban, like dorky kids too.
Right. Yeah. I grew up in northern New Jersey, which is I don't know how far outside of the city you guys are, where you grew up, but like I think that it makes you a very ambitious young person because you're in the shadow of this massive thing, and like you're kind of a part of it, and you want to be a part of it, but you also can't necessarily claim it because you're not from there, right? You're from the burbs. Do you think that is there a parallel there to growing up in the suburbs of Chicago where you see the bright lights, you see the windy city, and you want to be a part of it all, but maybe you're not exactly?
Sure. And I think that happened a lot when we first started playing shows in the city. The first couple times we played the Metro or something, it was like...
Right, it was just dragging all of our friends from the suburbs
right.
to the city.
But it also felt like going to the big leagues, you know what I mean?
I feel like that could only apply to the ambitious, though. Like how many people just sit in the burbs and rot,
Right.
For their
Right.
whole life.
Yeah,
or
exactly.
in the city and rock.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like,
Doesn't matter.
you obviously
you
had a certain ambition and you're going to do your thing.
Right.
Same with the band,
So, growing up in Santa Barbara, what kind of shaped you musically?
Friends, playing music.
Yeah.
I mean, just people who are more talented than myself. And I don't know, just you sit in a room with someone who can play guitar and sing real well and write really well and how they can basically command a room or move people. And I was always, before I learned to play, very, very envious of someone's ability to do such a thing,
Yeah.
And before I was writing music, I was writing and just kind of thought I can craft this into a song after I learned how to play guitar. So it's a sleepy music town. Like nothing really happens there musically. You have to get down to LA, and that's what we ended up doing. My old band finally left Santa Barbara, got signed, and then that's how I met these guys. So.
Oh no way! You guys met in SoCal?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We both bands had the same manager.
Okay.
And so we were all buddies, and we'd play with his old band a bunch. And then they broke up, and one of our guitar players left our band, and we're like, dude, we should get Tim. So
Totally. Yeah. And it all worked out.
Yeah.
I dig it. Another thing that you've said about this record is that it's sort of, I don't know if you've said that Plain White Tees needed a facelift or that this is a facelift for Plain White Tees. And usually I hear that usually when people get facelifts, right, they want to change something that they don't like. I'm curious, what needed to change?
I don't think it was necessarily anything we didn't like. I think it was more like we kind of kept ourselves in a bit of a box. It's like we grew up Chicago kids, like kind of playing pop punk, because that was like the bands that were all coming out of that scene. They were all like that. So we're like, cool, like let's turn up the distortion and just crank out. We had these like, kind of a little bit prettier love songs, but we would just crank up the distortion and make it punk, so we could play these shows. And then, it was weird when Delilah hit because that was kind of the anomaly. Is that the right word?
Yeah, it was the exception on, like, we didn't have a lot of acoustic songs on albums.
Right. Well, there was always we'd always do like the one or two acoustic songs. And it was like, oh, those are the songs that happen to be like super popular, people connected to. So then we're like, oh, do we do more songs like that, or do we still be like a punk? We kind of had like, just like we were a little bit lost for a while, and we just kind of made, we tried to always just not worry about what we're supposed to be, and just kind of try try to have fun with it and be creative with it. And but for a long time, we didn't really think too far outside of the box because we didn't really know how to make electronic music or what that meant. So it's like, cool, we'd play our guitars and just kind of put the songs together and do it the way we always did. And with this album, you know, like I said, with the 80s and taking it to the future thing, we wanted to really challenge ourselves and push ourselves musically and sonically to go places that we never had before.
Yeah, and you certainly did that. I want to call out some specific tracks that I'm a big fan of. You talk about production and messing around with different sounds. No Limitations is a really fascinating track off the album that, just from a production standpoint, I feel like the tempo changes a little bit in there, or, you know, the vibe at least. Can you take me through the production of that song?
Yeah, Tom and I wrote that one at his house in Malibu, and it started, I had a guitar riff that actually was kind of like a little bit bluesy, and it kind of followed the melody of the verse, and to be honest, it sounded kind of like John Mayer-ish. It was almost...
I remember that early version.
Yeah, I think like I was kind of listening
you were like
to
in the
like
kitchen and you were playing it.
Like kind of Ray LaMontagne-ish
Yeah,
kind of
yeah,
thing, and I was playing it in the kitchen, and he comes in and he goes, "What's that?" Like, maybe that's like the start of our next idea. We had another guy with us that was writing. And so I played it for him a few times, and he instantly switched the chord progression on me and was like, you know, what about this? And kind of led us down this road. And then that song happened really, really fast. We put it together in about a day. And as far as production-wise, Tom's mentality when it came to the chorus, because very, very, you got this really pretty verse and...
Are we allowed to swear in this program?
I think so. People have been, yeah.
And then the
Good.
pre-chorus kind of launches into like this falsetto part.
Yeah, it kind of
It's
dips down a little bit.
Very pretty. And then all of a sudden it just slams you in the face with these kind of synth chords, and the chorus melody kind of takes off. And Tom's thing was like, you know, this is the last thing people are going to expect. And it's basically like us, like
a fuck you to people, being not like in a bad way, but like you didn't know this was coming kind of way. You know, it's like we're 21 years into being a band. I think we have to like do things to like wake people up a little bit and say, shake it up. And, you know, it's like we could put out the same kind of Plain White T's albums that people would expect, but then it's just going to be like, oh yeah, Plain White T's, I know what that is. And we don't really want people to...
My first thought was, you're ruining my song, bro.
Wait, really? Did you?
I mean, the very first thought, yes. And then live with it for a little bit, and now, like, you know, we've been playing that song live.
And now it's confirmed. I ruined it.
No, it just hits really hard, and it's fun. So
Yeah. Do you guys feel empowered coming out of this record, Damar?
Say that again?
Do you feel empowered coming out of this record?
100%. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say too. Was that like I think like this is we needed this. Like we needed to shake things up for ourselves.
Yeah.
Like and by doing that, I don't know. Like just making a record like they were all really proud of, they were all really involved in the studio and just all did together. I don't know. I'm just super proud and I feel super empowered. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
More than ever, honestly.
You feel like you took back the identity of Plain White T's to an extent?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It's like it doesn't even kind of matter if anybody likes it. The fact that like we know we kind of killed it and we made something really cool that we all really love. So it's like we know maybe some people are going to be questioning it, but we know some people will like it and some people will get it, and that's what it's all about. It's like the people that get it, hell yeah. You know?
yeah, it's a pretty unifying time in the band because, you know, when you work together this long, there's definitely moments where he's going to love something, I'm going to hate it, he's going to kind of be on the fence or whatever. And this record has definitely brought the band together artistically, and just like he said, when it came to like our flow and our work ethic on this record was very, very smooth. And I think you can tell we had fun making the record when you listen to it. You know?
Oh, for sure, for sure.
Can I point something out in the unity that I just noticed? Damar and I are both wearing our Plain White T's Parallel Universe socks.
Plug the merch, bro.
And we did not do that on purpose, so we just happened
Can we get a shot of that, though? We have gotten,
big
like,
fans.
tattoo shots. This camera can pick it up right here. That's pretty cool. Right on.
yeah.
Might
funny.
recognize it.
Yeah. Hey.
Hey, there you go. That's really cool, though. Yeah, unity through socks.
Unity.
One sock at a time. No, but I wanted to ask you about this journey that you guys have been on, and I don't know if this was just you saying it in an interview, Tom, or you guys can echo this sentiment. But a song that kind of cracks me up to a certain extent is "Sick of Love," and the reason why is because I feel like you are going to break so many fans' hearts that grew up falling in love with you through these love songs like 1, 2, 3, 4 and "Hey There Delilah," and here are those guys being like, "Dude, we're kind of over love." Like I know you guys have said in interviews like, your heart is hardened a bit over time, and maybe you're not so, predisposed to the romanticism of your early records. And I'm just curious if you don't mind kind of talking about that, like personally, where is that coming from?
Well, I just don't think I can feel anymore.
All right. Are you making a joke? You being honest?
I'm kind of serious.
Yeah, no,
obviously it's a joke and whatever, but there's definitely like, when I was 22 or 23 or whatever, wrote "Hey There Delilah,"
right.
I was this, young, hopeless romantic, and not that I don't believe in love or don't believe in romance, I just don't believe in love or romance. It's like, it's bullshit. No, I just have gone through some experiences that make me like, I don't know, just question things, and like, it's not like I wish I could be that, like, feel that, that innocence again.
Are you envious of that kid that wrote "Hey There Delilah"?
A little bit.
Yeah.
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 But at the same time, I think I'm like, I see the world a little bit differently, and I think there's definitely some negatives in that, but also some huge positives.
Right.
I kind of am not worried about it anymore. I'm just kind of taking it day by day and trying to enjoy myself as much as I can every single day, and not necessarily going out there and trying to find the love of my life, because, I don't know, it's like, just go out and just be in the moment, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Don't worry about the future so much. Just live now.
It doesn't sound like a cheeseball, but you ever think like art or music is the love of your life?
Yeah, and I have a son who's 8 years old, and he's kind of like the love of my life too.
Yeah.
So between him and music, it's like, what do I need a girl for,
Yeah, exactly, right? Got it all right here.
Yeah.
Truly. Speaking of just the journey you guys have all been on, you're back on the record that you or you used to be. I don't know if you started
The label.
This. The label. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
the label. I should say. That's Fearless Records. Not that they have been this like static, thing.
We got some fearless staff in the back. What's
Oh yeah,
up?
shout out to the Fearless staff.
Woo!
Let's embarrass them really quick.
Yeah.
No, but my question about you guys being back on that is when you revisit things in life, whether it's a book or a film or a hometown, right? It serves as somewhat of a mirror to yourself, because you can kind of, by revisiting that place or that thing, you can see how you've changed. And again, like Fearless has probably changed in their own right since you were last on them. But I'm curious, like there had to be an element of that, of reflection of this time versus that. So how have you guys just changed as individuals, as bandmates, as a group since that time?
What's interesting is I never thought of this until you posed it that way, but I feel like I'm like a pretty nostalgic person.
Mm-hmm.
And, we've talked about harkening back to the 80s and stuff like that. Like, I feel like "Hey There Delilah," people always said that, like, oh, that song could have been like in the 50s or 60s, or, it's like a timeless thing. It's just odd that we're such a nostalgic band, and now here we are going back to our roots with our first record label. It's kind of all weirdly like full circle.
Yeah.
I think I'm a lot more patient, I hope, with everything. Like, because I would be the one to snap.
Sure.
You snap sometimes, but it's all love, man.
I kind of snap, I do, yeah.
I mean, look at the guy.
Don't snap now.
He was just asleep backstage.
No, I'm good. But yeah, I think that we've all
we've
become
all-
better friends, which is cool.
And definitely just kind of, I don't want to say mellowed out, but
Mellowed out.
yeah, mellowed out.
Yeah, mature. You guys are a mature bunch of gentlemen.
I wouldn't go that far.
Trying, yeah.
Evolved.
Yeah.
We have, there's very few, I was going to say bands on the show, but we have had some like you that have this just like runaway song that just takes on a life of its own. "Hey There Delilah," of course. And I think the common answer that I get is that it just becomes the world song at some point, and it almost sounds like a cover. I've gotten a lot of anecdotal stories of it. It sounds like a cover sometimes. You're like, oh yeah, that's my song. Totally. What is your guys' relationship, other than probably being sick of being asked about it?
I mean, the cover thing is weird because, Damar, weren't you in an Uber?
Yeah, I was showing someone that it was my yoga teacher, and I was she's
your
like, oh,
yoga
what do you do? Aren't you supposed to send me music? So I'm like, hey, well, here's my band, and I show her, and she's like, oh, I love a good cover, and I'm like, no, you know?
They didn't realize?
Yeah, she like didn't know, and then she starts playing it like in the class, and I'm just like, oh god. You know?
That's so funny. Yeah. No, I mean, I can't imagine. I did get a kick out of Tom. I think I was reading that around the 10th anniversary of the song, you were actually texting Delilah.
Yeah, we keep it. I mean, I haven't talked to her in a bit, probably since then, because the 10th anniversary was last year of it going #1. But you know, it's funny. This is an AOL thing, and Delilah and I, we kind of kept in touch on AIM.
Yeah, man.
Anybody remember AIM back?
Of
in the
course, dude.
Better remember AIM.
Oh yeah. So it's just kind of funny that we had that little AOL connection.
Well, and she went to college.
She went to college here. Yeah. Columbia.
Right.
Oh, what's up?
Delilah!
Oh my God, are you Delilah? I think so. Oh, I see the bag. Look at that. Columbia University. Cool.
That's really cool.
You're not
wow,
a-
talk about full circle, guys.
Yeah,
That's
wow.
kinda weird.
You're not a runner, are you? Okay.
Delilah
God,
was,
yeah.
though.
Yeah,
When's
she
the
was
last
a
time you
runner.
texted?
She ran away.
I think, yeah, she ran all the time. No, probably for the 10-year anniversary last year.
Right.
You know, it's funny, like, I'd only met her once or maybe twice. No, I think just once before I started writing the song. It was just one of those, like, magic nights where I was like, oh, my God, this girl's so beautiful. And we kind of flirted and joked that I had a song about her. And it just kind of, just a random occurrence that then I ended up writing the song. And because of the few details that I did know about her, she went to school in New York City. That's pretty much the only detail I knew about her. Literally. And she was beautiful, so it was like I knew that, she was shining bright and she was in New York, and I just ran with it. But really, in reality, like after hanging with her, a few times over the years, like I brought her to the Grammys. She was my date for the Grammys.
That's so wonderful.
And I don't know if we would have worked out.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Why don't you think so?
Well, first, he curses like a sailor, and she was kind of really sweet, like gee whiz, kind of aw shucks, and that's great. Like, she's much more wholesome than him.
Yeah, but you've seen Grease, man. You know how that story goes.
Yeah.
Come on.
But I don't know.
been
I think
my,
you guys are opposites for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, what did she keep saying? Neat, right? Everything at the Grammys, like, oh, that was neat. It was so neat.
Her boyfriend must hate you.
Her boyfriend,
would
that
think.
was the thing, too. She had a boyfriend, like, the whole time.
Well, he can never write her a #1 record. Do
No
you know what I
way,
mean?
dude.
That's amazing.
Bring it on, bro. Come on. Let's
So you
see
guys
it.
don't text like at all anymore?
We haven't in a bit.
Like, would you shoot her a text right now?
I mean, I could.
Could you? Could you just text her like, "Hey there"? I'm being serious.
Hey, I'm not
Like,
gonna
what
text her. Hey there.
Shoot
could be
Delilah
like-
a text right now.
Okay, I'll be
We're
like,
live. This is like fun.
Hey, I'm on AOL, and do you remember AIM?
Yeah, seriously. And then just blame it on me if
see.
it's weird.
This is a good idea.
It's amazing.
Okay.
What should he text her?
I'm really surprised. This is the first time anybody's come up with that idea.
Right?
Text Delilah, hey there.
All right. What do we got?
Hey,
There.
I'm. Okay, fine. I'll do
Hey
hey.
there.
Text her hey there. Text her hey there.
Hey there.
Genius.
I'm doing an interview.
Dude, just hey there was
all
enough.
there.
Yeah, just say hey there. Just say hey there.
Send.
Oh, you just
done.
want hey there. Okay.
Just hey there. And then if she doesn't answer, just
You were about to write.
ask her what's going on in New York City.
I was going to explain myself, but I won't. Hey there.
Amazing. Can we see?
Yeah.
Can the camera get that? I don't know modern
You have the
technology.
phone number up
I
there?
didn't send it here.
Oh, here we go. We got a tight shot somewhere. Where's that camera? Right there? Look at 3.
Hey there. Hang on. Oh, delivered. Okay. We got
Amazing.
this?
Right here on 3.
Oh,
This
we're
guy.
at 3.
Right there. Hey there.
Hey
Amazing.
there.
Art imitating life, imitating
Boom.
art.
She's going to be like, pull out her phone and be like, what the
What the
hell?
heck? All right. Again, blame it on me.
Yeah.
All right. Well, on that note, guys, we got to turn it over to the audience here. We've got a bunch of great.
If she answers, I'll let you guys
Oh,
know.
please. Yeah, please. Leave that on the buzzer.
Yeah.
Just gonna text.
Oh. Oh,
What
Delilah's
is
actually
Tom
Mike,
doing?
guys. That's so
OMG.
embarrassing.
All right, let's get to the first fan question. Where is it going to come from? Right here.
Hey guys, our
there.
first question is going to be actually from an online viewer. Jen wants to know, what do you guys think about Hey There Delilah being turned into a TV show?
We think it will be really cool if it happens. We're still very much in development and pitching it to networks and stuff. But it's kind of a cool idea. It's cool to think that that song could take on another life. People still seem, obviously we're talking about it right now, kind of still fascinated with the story and the idea behind the song. So yeah, if it gets picked up, it would be just really cool to have this story continue on.
It'd be cool if it had that like John Hughes vibe. You know what I mean?
Totally.
But
It's
that's
like
right? Yeah.
that'd be really neat. Yeah. If
Oh,
this
yeah.
if this is a scene in one of the episodes, just cast somebody like really cool to play me.
You got it. We'll get you to play you, man.
There you go, man. Hey,
Boom.
I can use the work. All right, let's get to final question right here.
Final. That's
Hi.
it?
So, what went into the decision to naming the album Parallel Universe?
That is a
man.
great question.
I meant to ask that, not to steal your thunder.
Sure you did. So like Tim said, we had a blast making the record,
Yep.
writing the album, recording the album. It was like the smoothest process we've ever had as a band making an album. Until
We had to name it.
we had to name it. Yeah.
It was hell.
It was
We had
horrible.
like
So hard.
lists of literally probably 70 titles. 100.
Yeah, there was like over 100 titles.
Okay, over 100 titles. And there was not one that like everybody would sign off on.
We were close, though. Everything was kind of like dodging and weaving around.
We were not close.
No. What
we
I'm
were
saying,
so far.
No.
We had
The unity is
wait a
crumbling
second,
right
hold
now.
There was like
This
there was
is
a
how it was
space
when we were trying to
theme
name the
that was
album.
going
Okay,
on.
you're right. We were. You're
So
right.
there was like an outer space theme happening, or like a scientific theme happening,
Yeah, like a sci-fi vibe.
dark matter, or what was some of the other ones that were getting thrown around?
Heat.
Oh
my
yeah,
favorite.
you loved Heat for some reason. But long list of like kind of weird sci-fi names, and then it turned out that
It was the day that we needed a title. The label was like, okay, like we need it today. If we want this album to come out on the release date, we need the album title now. And so we were all playing a show. We were all
Yeah, we were together.
backstage.
Finally. Yeah.
And we were talking about like gear and stuff like that we were going to be playing because we wanted to, have a cool aesthetic going through the album. Kind of make it feel the way everything was sounding, make it the look kind of tie into it. And Dave said there's the Fender guitars. They had a new guitar line called the Parallel Universe guitar, where they combined a few elements of old guitars and kind of mashed them together to make this new line. And Dave's like, "Oh, I should get one of those Parallel Universe guitars." And everybody kind of looked at each other like, "Oh, Parallel Universe," and it was like, "Done." And we're like, "Okay, let's not even
And it
think
was
about
that
it.
quick?
Let's
It
not
was
think
that
about
quick.
it. Turn it in. Done." Yeah,
That's amazing.
Like a month of emailing. That took
Right.
one day of us in a room together. Bam.
bam.
That's all it took.
Yes, and it really is like the perfect title for the album, and we all instantly were like, "Yeah, hell yeah."
And now you have a Fender sponsorship waiting to happen.
Yeah,
Now that they know the story.
thank you
Can we
for
work on that, you
Management?
guys?
No.
Thank you.
Yes.
Quick, I never thought of this question. Should you be like sober or drunk when you name an album?
yes,
Yes.
Also, yes.
absolutely.
What do you think is better? You think the creative juices are flowing when you're like having a couple? Or you think you should
It's
maybe when you
interesting.
come up with
It
it?
goes both ways.
Okay.
Sometimes a little bit of alcohol will help you get creative, and sometimes it'll just kind of like give you like,
Heat.
Exactly.
I'm out of here. I was so stoked on that title, but nobody liked it.
Thank God.
But hey, it was for the better. So
Yeah, there you go. No, it came out great, guys. And I'll end on this note. I know, dad life and whatnot families, they make touring a little bit more difficult. But I've heard, murmurs of top of 2019 maybe, like some.
yeah, well, we're doing a few like little scattered runs this year.
Okay.
In November, we're doing a full West Coast thing from Seattle down to LA and then over to Las Vegas.
Rad.
With everything in between. But yeah, I think the heavy touring will be next year for
Very
sure.
cool. All right, well, guys, I can't thank you enough. You've had a long day. I hope this is the last
This
stop.
was the perfect
This is it?
ending to the day. Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah, now you
thank
got
you.
Delilah on your case, being
I
like,
know,
why are you
she-
being a weirdo?
Just like real life, she hasn't named me back yet, so we'll see. Sick of love, man. These are wrong.
Exactly.
Pointless.
That's the perfect note to end on. Guys, one more time for Plain White Tees.
Thank you.